Hey now everybody, this is Professor Island and we are discussing paper formatting and test formatting, and today's discussion specifically is how to get at least a C on a 103 test. Keep in mind that a test in my class is a written, timed essay, and to that end you must finish a minimum length in order to get credit for it. That minimum length is going to be 5 paragraphs. 5 paragraphs include an introduction and a conclusion, and 3 middle body paragraphs in which you explain the essence of your paper. The introduction, as I've noted elsewhere on my website, is short. You must have at least 2 sentences, one of them being the thesis statement, the other the background statement, and you must indicate the critical perspectives you're going to apply. But if you find yourself writing anything more than 5 sentences, you're probably giving me too much information in the introduction. Likewise, the conclusion is also short, at least 2, but certainly not more than 5 or 6 sentences. The crux of your paper, and what I'm really grading you on in terms of content, is going to be in the body of the essay. This is where you're going to apply critical perspectives. And to that end, each individual paragraph must indicate which critical perspective is being used in that paragraph. You cannot simply tell me some aspect of the story and expect me to identify which critical perspective you're applying, because especially for 103, the test is whether or not you understand which critical perspective you're applying, and therefore you must label that critical perspective clearly: biographical, psychoanalytical, Marxist, whatever it happens to be. To that end also, the body paragraphs, since they are really the essence of the paper and the vast majority of the paper, they need to be an absolute minimum of 10 sentences. Anything less than that is going to be a failure. Within those 10 sentences, you must use both the primary and secondary texts quoted at least once, which means a minimum of 2 quotations per paragraph, one from the poem or drama or story that you're talking about, and one from a secondary source. This is required for just a minimum C, and you will do this in each body paragraph. Obviously, as part of that as well, that directly quoted text also has to have a citation, and to that end, paraphrasing does not count. You can include paraphrasing, of course, but I do not want that to replace directly quoted text. In essence, 10 sentences, primary and secondary text, and the identification of the literary term in each body paragraph will get you a minimum C grade. If you want a better grade, make the paper longer, make those body paragraphs certainly longer, apply more primary and secondary text, apply that literary device more fully. I do not want more than 1 critical perspective per body paragraph, but you could certainly talk more about the 1 critical perspective that you've chosen for that paragraph. Keep these things in mind. I understand you're taking a test, and I understand you're under time conditions. Make sure you do the minimum, certainly to get a passing grade. And then if you can do anything beyond that, your grade will certainly increase. But you must hit those minimum elements in order to get a passing grade, a C, for a test. Stay in touch.